Brady in the lab, got the stats on the slab. Punching numbers mad like a nerdy want the white patch. Shuffle through metrics, opponents sweating hectic. DFS legend, cash and checks, y'all skeptic. Digging deep, algorithm creep, data reaps. Caught him slipping breeze, ripping through the sheets like a scientist with a twist. Cool as ice, but with a fist. Bet boss, game cross, every player, he's the assist. Data detectives, angles intersected. Numbers dissected, every move perfected. In DFS we trust, never out of luck. Brady call a shot straight bucks, what's up? Charts and graphs, beyond the tip of the math. Riverboat blast, hit the cash, full stack smash. Contest kingpin, always in the wind. Watch him calculate in the pocket, grin. Excel sheets like symphony beats. Game theories neat, never face defeat. Pattern decoder, strategic composure. DFS take over, Brady on the poster. Data detectives, angles intersected. Numbers dissected, every move perfected. In DFS we trust, never out of luck. Brady calling shots, straight bucks, what's up?
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC Vegas 93, which has completely fell apart. It's completely fallen apart. We lost Ikram Aliskerov going against Antonio Tricoli, which, you know, in fairness, wasn't a fight that should have been happening. So I guess that's fair. And then we also lost Tagir Ulanbekov versus Joshua Van, which was my favorite fight on the card. So I was going, well, I already had a bet on the Tagir fight. And then I also was going to have some type of bet on the Ikram Aliskerov fight as well. So right off the bat, lost a lot of action for this card. So yeah, I thought early in the week it was going to be a card that I'm going to be very heavy on from a betting perspective. But yeah, as of now, 5 units on the line. Looking at maybe one more spot. So yeah, we'll talk about it. Have a big parlay as well this week. So yeah, should be interesting nonetheless. But yes, 11 fights as of now. And they were starting at 7 Eastern when they had 13 fights. So are they going to back it up to 7:30 or 8 start time? I don't know. So this is a complete mess. And the month of June is a complete mess as well. Next week, the card is falling apart. UFC 303 fell apart, but we've got some new fight. These next two cards, the next 2 weeks, they're getting completely changed around on very short notice. So yeah, this card is kind of crumbling, but I'm still looking forward to it. It's Weston Wilson fight week. They can't take that away from us. So yeah, looking forward to getting into it. Before we do so, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Be on the lookout for the betting breakdown video, which will be out tonight. And best bet tomorrow, not 100% sure on the time, aiming for 2 hours prior to the prelims, but I'm not sure the exact time these prelims are going to start. So we shall see. Yeah, what is up, everybody in the chat? We have Dirk, first one in here, who is Cody Brundage's biggest hater. He says Cody Brundage sucks. Come on, Dirk. Cody Brundage does not suck. Cody Brundage is the GOAT. He doesn't suck. He's not the GOAT. He's okay. Cody Brundage is the GOAT. Okay, some Cody Brundage love. Like to see that. We have LJ. What is up, Brady? Let's go. Poor Weston. Poor Weston Wilson. We got Linnell. What is up, Linnell? Nice intro. Prefer the old song, though, just in my opinion. Yeah, can't use the old song. They took it away from me. They kept flagging my videos and getting all the revenue. So shout out to them for that. But also shout out to the Golden Octagon, who actually made me the new intro. He sent me 3 different ones, and I got to choose. One was a Liang Na song. Decided to go with the in DFS we trust. I kind of like that. So yeah, shout out to Golden Octagon for that. Finally got an intro instead of the boring 30-second countdown. So shout out to him for that. What's up, Brady? Glad to catch some of this live. Glad for you to catch it, Cody. Best of luck to you this week. It's an interesting card. Like I said, kind of falling apart though. Brady, what do you think of the Ikram opening plus money line against Robert Whittaker? Placed a pretty large wager just now. What I will say is I got to look into the fight, obviously, but it is the biggest step up in competition in UFC history, going from Antonio Tricoli to Robert Whittaker. So I'll say that, but I'm a big believer in Ikram. I think this guy could be a contender, and I think he is very live to beat Robert Whitaker. But that is a massive, massive change in opponent. Yeah, and I agree. That was my favorite fight on the card, the Joshua Van Tagir Alibekov fight. So that definitely hurt. Definitely hurt. Everybody knew the fight was going to get pulled. Yeah, I kind of knew deep down it was going to get pulled one way or another. I knew one way or another Tricoli probably wasn't showing up. So not the biggest surprise, but that Tagir fight being off kind of hurts. Thanks for the content, but will you please pronounce Tyra's name correctly? It's pronounced Tyra. I literally just said that. Didn't I? Thanks for the content, but will you please pronounce Tyra's name correctly? It's pronounced Tyra. You got to be joking. I mean, what else do you want me to do? I don't know how I can get any closer to being. And I pride myself on getting these names right 99% of the time. I pride myself on it. So it's pronounced Tyra. Noted. It's noted. I don't know. New theme song is dope. Yeah, I was very surprised. He hit me up, said I have 3 songs for you. I said okay, I'll take a listen, and then had to pick between the 3, and I picked that one. I could have maybe I can do the Liang Na one of these times, but yeah, I was very happy. So shout out to him. They didn't charge me or nothing like that as well. So yeah, that dude's Golden Octagon's awesome. Just got laid off my job, and I caught my girl cheating on me last week. All I can hope for is a big parlay hit. I hope you're joking. But if not, I'm sorry, dude. That's awesome. That's awful. That's awful. That is very awful. Both those things are not good. But yeah, I hope you're joking. I got Wilson flying knee. Then he makes the move towards the title. You so should have made your intro song. You singing about Liang Na. Thought about it. I got to get in the studio. What's up, Brady? Let's hope there's one more Weston Wilson fight week left. This is probably the last one. Tyra going to sleep. I don't know. It's not Tyra. It's Tyra. Knew it. How many fights are there now? There's 11. There's 11. Bro, is the Tagir versus Josh Van fight over? It is off. The fight is off. Tagir missed weight by 3.5 or 4 pounds. I forget what he weighed in at, but he looked horrible. And knew right then and there the fight was going to be off. Appreciate it. That's awesome. Appreciate Hank the Tank. Yeah, everybody's pulling out. Hamzat pulled out. Connor pulled out. I'm not surprised about really either, to be honest. It's geez, you can't please everybody. But yeah, I try my best, and that's all you can do. You show up and you try your best. And that's what I'm doing. And the last one before we get into it, does the card start earlier or later now? I don't know what they're going to do. It's supposed to start at 7, which is late. And all good. I mean, like I said, Retro, I can only try my best. I'm only human. So next week I'll be sure to practice a lot of these names next week, so I can perfect them for you at Retro. So yeah, my bad. My apologies. All right. Let's and yeah, big announcement. Thank you for reminding me. Big announcement. Vito saying, do you still do that show with Gordo, Wheezy, and Monk? Is it still on Pub Sports Radio? No, we stopped that like last month whenever I got released from Pub Sports. But big news is the return of the the show that was on Pub Sports, the Draftkings Picks and Prediction Show will be on this channel, DFS by the Numbers, Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, same time. And we're either going to be starting it next week for UFC Saudi Arabia or for UFC 303. But the DFS show will be back. So very excited about that. It's okay, Brady. You can't tickle everybody's. You can't. You really can. You really can't. Man, I mean, I did a show with Wheezy, Stat Diggers, a Sunday, and I got probably the most terrible comment ever. I've gotten some terrible comments, these last 6 years. But somebody called me the devil. And, a lot of these I just shake them off. I just ignore them or whatever. That one's like, I sat there, I'm like, what? He thinks I'm the devil? And he's being serious too. He was like, you always talk crap about women's MMA. You're the devil. Like, what? I'm the devil? What are you talking about? I've never said one bad word about anybody, you know? I'm a nice, if you know me, like I'm a nice guy. So that was first, but apparently this dude thinks I'm the devil. So yeah, you certainly can't please everybody. That's for sure. But yeah, that comment certainly caught me off. It made me rethink my life. It's like, am I that bad? I don't know. Maybe I should ease up. But holy crap! But no, I'm not the devil. I'm not the devil. There's a lot worse people than me. Even on like you, like I don't get that. But all right, let's move on to UFC Vegas 93. It's probably going to be a shorter live stream. Don't have much to say on a lot of these fights, but we're going to kick it off. And this bout order, it's so annoying. They literally have changed this bout order like 5 times within the last 2 weeks. I hate it because then I have to rearrange everything. So we're getting what I have here. Mel Costa going against Shalion Nuerdanbieke. And yeah, this is one fight that, the more I thought about it, I think this fight can go 2 ways. I think that Shalion Nuerdanbieke, if this fight does go the full 15 minutes, can make it competitive. He can land big shots on the feet. He can wrestle, get takedowns, get control time on the mat. But the more I kind of thought about it, I think Costa could be live for a late finish. Nuerdanbieke, we could take a look at it here, has been finished 9 times in his career. And let me remind you guys that a lot of those finished losses are against just complete bums. Just complete bums. And so, yeah, 9 finished losses, 6 by submission and 3 by knockout. So I don't like that. I don't like the durability of Shalion. I don't like the submission defense of Shalion. I don't like the cardio of Shalion. So with all those in mind, I was like, man, if he starts to slow down, like Mel Costa could potentially get a late finish here. And I was looking at these Mel Costa late finish props, and they're pretty big numbers considering that he's a moderate favorite. So that's gonna be a sprinkle for me. A quarter unit on the round 2, round 3. I think they're gonna be very live here. Shalion, like I said, I mean he's been tapped out 6 times. He's been knocked out 3 times. The cardio's certainly questionable. He slows down. I think Mel Costa round 2 and round 3 are certainly on the table. But like I said, if this fight does go to decision, I think it could be close. I think the decision only for Shalion Nuerdanbieke is even decent at plus money. But yeah, I put a quarter unit on these round 2, round 3 props. Round 2 plus 750, round 3 plus 1300. Looking for Costa to take over late and potentially get a finish here. Other than that, not a ton sticking out in this fight. Both guys are certainly in play on DK 8,500 for Mel Costa. I think he's live for, like I said, a late finish. And then as far as Shalion, I actually don't hate him as a dog on DraftKings because his path to victory, in my opinion, is going to be just wrestling nonstop because he's not going to want to strike with Costa much. I mean, on the feet, it's, Costa's the better striker. So I think Shalion's going to want to wrestle. And if he does and has success over 15, he could score well. But yeah, I was looking at some of these lines, and these the Costa submission prop got wrecked throughout the week. It opened up, I think, like plus 600, like it's plus 400, plus 350. The Costa sub prop. I think that's live. I think the 2-3 is live, but I just took the 2-3 there. What do you guys have for this fight? Brady has always given off satanic vibes. I don't think so, man. I don't think I do. You're devilishly handsome. I'd say so. Sorry, man. I've been watching your content for a while. It's all good. I'm just giving you crap, Retro. It's all good. Brady's middle name is 666. That it is not. I've always thought Brady has devilish hazel eyes. What? One of the best content creators on YouTube. Give a like. Appreciate you, Spencer. Yeah, if you guys have not liked, please be sure to like. Clearly, Brady has had a bad week after that comment. Everyone smashed the Nate Jimmy over 1.5 so Brady can get a better price. Yeah, I wish, man. I wish I can get a better price on that. The Flick unders, the Weston Wilson unders. Yeah, so if you guys could, please do that. It's a complete split. Yeah, I'd say so. It's a complete switch. I know people are gonna get mad about it, but it's America. It's a free country. I can change my pick if I want. But I was like, it's a close fight, man. Like it can go either way. I was flipping back and forth throughout the week on it. Um, don't have a strong lean, but I do like those Costa late props. And I almost changed back after seeing Costa's terrible haircut. I mean, he had a horrible haircut today. He had I don't know what was going on with that haircut. Like I'm at a loss for words with what I saw. So I don't know. Brady, has the Wednesday night show moved or been discontinued? It's going to be on my channel, DFS by the numbers, Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Me, Monk, Gordo, and Uncle Wheezy. The DFS show is back. It is back after popular demand, which I didn't think it was that popular because it only got like 1,000 views per week. But people have been asking about it. Yeah, he does. He does. He does. Could have sworn Jose Johnson was going to look like Jesse Butler at weigh-in. Surprised me. Yeah, he looked good. He looked good. But move on to the next fight. We got Josephine Knudsen going against Julia Pastri. And we have some money coming in on Pastri throughout the week, which I can't blame people with some of these scorecards as of late. It's like, are the judges even watching some of these fights? What was going on last week? Like, what were some of the scorecards last week? Which is crazy to say because UFC 302 had abysmal scorecards, but I thought last week might have been a little bit worse. I mean, some of these scorecards last week, like, so yeah, I mean, it's a fight that is going to go to decision first and foremost. Minus 350 for the fight goes to decision. So right off the bat, it's like, it's going to be in the hands of the judges, but I do like Knudsen to win the fight. I think she can win minutes wherever this fight goes. At range, it'll certainly be competitive, but in the clinch, she can win minutes. On the ground, she can win minutes, and that's where I think she'll win the most of her minutes is going to be the takedowns, the control time on top. So yeah, Knudsen for the win by decision, but nothing really sticking out in this fight. I don't really want to lay this price tag. I don't really want to bet the decision. So yeah, it's a pass for me, guys. From a DraftKings perspective, going to be fading Knudsen. I think she actually scores decent. I think she scores fine. It's just I think there's a lot more better options. You have Asu Almabayev, who I really like. You have Nate Maness, who's going to destroy Jimmy Flick. You have Jekka Sergi, who's probably going to destroy Weston Wilson. So I think she scores fine. It's just there's better options. So yeah, complete pass here for me. Thunder, yeah, that's Knudsen's nickname, right? Thunder. Yes, it is back. It is back. It is certainly back. I'm looking forward to it. Had some scheduling conflicts. I was trying to move the show, honestly, to maybe Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday at a different time, but we're going to settle for 9. Judging was one of the reasons I stopped betting MMA. It's always been questionable, but I say this last year it's been awful. If someone called me the devil, I would be like, thank you. Kindness is overrated. I don't really want to be called that. I mean, that's like the worst thing you can call somebody. It definitely caught me off guard. Any prize picks plays sticking out? Yeah, so I like the Fernandez more on these significant strikes. And then I like some type of violence on the Serra. I'm not sure if these have moved yet, and I still haven't played anything on prize picks yet. I'm going to be doing that tonight. But some type of violence in the Wilson Serra fight, maybe some type of violence in the Maness Flick fight. Other than that, I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, I haven't put anything in on prize picks just yet. Over 2.5 as a core parlay piece. I don't mind it. I do not mind it. We got Yes Freak in the building. Scottsdale, Arizona is watching you. Brady, show me the money. I'm going to try to show you some money here, just not on the Knudsen Pastri fight. It's Knudsen or pass, but I can't get there with the crooked, corrupt, blind judges. All right. I do have action on this next fight. So I don't have a ton of action on this card, but my night is going to unfortunately come down to this Jekka Sergi Weston Wilson fight and the Nate Maness Jimmy Flick fight. So I have a big parlay, big square parlay. It's kind of square. Yeah, it's certainly kind of square. It is the under 1.5 rounds in the Jekka Sergi Weston Wilson fight, parlayed with the under 2.5 rounds in the Nate Maness Jimmy Flick fight. Came out to minus 145, and I have 3 units on it to win a little bit over 2. The reason being is Weston Wilson has not seen a second round in like 14 fights. It's been a very long time since Weston Wilson's seen a second round. And if you watch Weston Wilson fight, you can see why. He has terrible striking defense, terrible durability, and quite frankly, I'm not sure what he's doing out there. He has zero process to his game. He's a dangerous grappler that doesn't wrestle. He's brings out this like karate style. I just don't know what he's doing. I'm like, what are you doing, Weston Wilson? Everything that touches him hurts him. He's wobbling all around the cage. And although this is a step down for Weston Wilson from Brito especially, Gene Silva, it's a step down. Jekka Sergi does one thing well and one thing only, really, and that's he hits very hard. He hits very hard. He has a lot of power. And what does Weston Wilson struggle with? And that is a lot of things, but power. So I think the most likely scenario is Jekka Sergi by first round knockout. But the thing is, all these props are terrible. Like Jekka Sergi by knockout, best price is like minus 200. Minus 200 for a knockout prop. Jekka Sergi in round 1 is minus 150. Like you can't play those. So I was forced to just parlay up the under 1.5 because I think it is Jekka getting this knockout within the first 7.5 minutes. But if this fight hits the mat, I actually think Weston Wilson is super live to submit Jekka Sergi, who has no ground game. So I think the Weston Wilson first round submission sprinkle is in play. I'm not going to do it because I think his head gets taken off. But if you want to do it, I don't think it's a terrible look. Just give me the under. Give me somebody to get served within the first 7.5 minutes. Wilson's not seen a second round in years, and I don't see why that would change here. So yeah, under 1.5 in a big parlay. My night comes down to it, which kind of sucks. It's such a terrible fight, but I do like violence here. From a DraftKings perspective, Jekka Sergi 9,300, certainly in play. Knockdown upside. He can get a couple of them. Knockout upside. First round upside. 60-second upside. It's all in play. And then as far as Weston Wilson, he's a dart throw. He is certainly a dart throw. So yeah, give me Weston Wilson to hopefully not ever fight again. I mean, it's hard to watch at this point. It's very hard to watch. Don't change, Brady. You're just fine. Appreciate that, Steven. Appreciate that. If the state-by-state fight judging system is corrupted, incompetent, what can UFC do to stop bad judging? You have to ask them, because I have some ideas, but I mean, it's not up to me. It's not up to me. Brady's voice was echoing in my ear last night. Crooked, corrupt, blind judges. It's always in that order, too. It's crooked, corrupt, blind judge. Sometimes I add drunk because I feel like they're maybe under the influence of alcohol, maybe drugs. Because that's the only logical explanation of how you can come up with some of these trash scorecards. I feel like they're not watching the fight. And there was one fight last year or the year before where a judge was caught on their phone during the fight. Like, it's crazy. Picking every favorite, I am not. I have picking Lucas Almeida. Jekka Sergi lost to Anshul Jubilee. Yeah, it's not good. He's not good. He's not. I mean, I would not recommend playing anything on the Sergi side because, Weston Wilson, if he gets the fight down to the mat, he probably is going to sub him. It's just I think his head gets taken off before then. Who has a better chance to win, Flick or Wilson? Wilson for me. I don't think Jimmy Flick has much of a chance, but Wilson does because I think Nate Maness is actually, although I'm not the big Nate Maness fan, Nate Maness is actually a pretty good fighter. Whereas Jekka Sergi, I'm not so sure. So yeah, appreciate you 4-ounce sniper for the 199 dono. Means a lot. It all adds up. It certainly all adds up. Appreciate you. All right, guys, we'll move on to the next fight. We got Gabriela Fernandez going against Carly Judice. And probably gonna pass here. But this line movement's kind of interesting. Fernandez opened up minus 155. She was at minus 260 for a while, for like a week and a half. Now she's minus 160. Carly Judice is currently a plus 140 underdog. So we got Lou Betch's sombrero in the building. What is up, Lou Betch's sombrero? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure why this line's closing up, to be honest. I know people are very low on Fernandez, 0-2 in the UFC, as am I. But you take a look at her 2 losses, and they're against Jasmine Jazz the Vicious, very physically strong, really good wrestler, and then Teresa Bleda, who's very physically strong, good wrestler, and now she's going against Judice, who I haven't seen complete a takedown, and that's what I looked for. I was like, okay, does Judice wrestle at all? And the answer to that is no, not really. I haven't seen her complete one takedown ever. To be fair, she only has 4 fights, but still. So I'm wondering if like people know something. Like she has been training at MMA Masters, which, you know, in theory, maybe she does come out here and wrestle, but it's all like a guess, you know. Like I know I'm pretty confident saying she's not going to, you know, she's not as good of a wrestler as Jasmine Jazz the Vicious or Teresa Blade or anywhere near those two. But will she try to wrestle and will she have success? I guess that's yet to be seen. And if not, like, you know, Fernandez, she's a very good striker. Like, we don't get to see it a ton. She's been controlled for over 20 minutes, but on the feet, Fernandez is a very good striker. She has great kicks, great power as well. So yeah, it's Fernandez or pass for me. I was debating maybe like a Fernandez by knockout look, Fernandez inside the distance, but Judice, she's super tough. She's super hittable. She has no striking defense, but she is tough. She has that dog in her. So I think it's gonna be one of those fights where there's going to be a lot of like opportunities for there to be a finish. I think Judice is going to get hurt a couple times, but I think it probably does go 15. And I'll probably be yelling at my TV if I bet any violence prop on this fight. So I think I might just pass. But the Fernandez KO prop was like plus 500 on Bet Rivers, and then the Fernandez inside the distance was plus 300 on Bet Rivers. I had my eye on it, but it's just one of those plays where I think I'll be smashing my TV with a baseball bat, where Fernandez just beats the crap out of Judice and doesn't get the finish. We lost the Tagir fight. Yeah, it sucks, man. My favorite fight on the card. Jika does wear a cool hat, and yeah, cool hats are plus EV. That's for sure. That is for sure. We got Sean in the building. What is up, Sean? Let's go, Brady. Let's go, Sean. I have a Maness fight to finish in rounds 1 or 2, and Wilson fight to finish in round 1 or 2 adds up to minus 107. Good odds or not? Yeah, I like it. Obviously, the only thing I have to probably worry about would be the flick submission. But yeah, I do like that. I might take a look at something like that, actually. That's a good idea. I don't hate that. I did something very similar. I just took the under 2.5 in the flick fight, and then parlayed that with the under 1.5 in the Wilson fight. But I like that as well. We got Frederick with the $2 donut. Appreciate you, Frederick. Judice's boxing is good, but her comp is shady. Yeah, very, very shady. But yeah, I'm with you. I was super impressed. You know, you look at Judice, you see that she only has 4 fights, and you're expecting somebody that is extremely green, which she is a tad. But I was very impressed with her striking. I think she does have really good striking, very good volume. Really hittable. Really needs to shore up those defensive issues. But yeah, I think she looks really good for only having 4 professional fights and becoming a pro not too long ago. So yeah, I was impressed. Yeah, the competition is pretty bad. She is kind of getting a little like thrown in here a little bit early. Would have liked to see her maybe get a couple more fights outside the UFC, but they're throwing her in here pretty easily. Judice could finish Fernandez. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Jazz the Vicious and Blada couldn't, but I don't know. Both women fights going over? Probably. Good hats are plus CV. I like that. They are, man. I mean, these hats have been on fire. They've absolutely been on fire. Did you watch PFL last night? I caught bits and pieces, a couple of different fights. But no, I saw the Carmouche fight that come from behind victory. I saw the the knockdown slash cup shot within the Marquez fight. I saw a couple like bits and pieces of it, but I didn't have any action on it. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is Garrett Armfield going against Brady Hiestand. Where do we have this line at now? It is. Did they move this up to like the main card? Yeah, I think they did. Like this bout order has been shifted so much. Armfield's minus 190. He stands plus 165. And I haven't bet anything on this fight yet. I'm still debating it. And I might get to something. So this is a striker versus grappler matchup. It's simple as that. On the feet, it's one-way traffic. It's not even close. Brady Hiestand, a walking punching bag. I think he's a little chinny. He's been dropped in all three of his losses or all three of his fights in the UFC. He's been knocked out outside the UFC. Armfield has really good boxing, volume, and power. I think on the feet, he stands in a lot of trouble. And then on the flip side, Garrett Armfield, you look at his three losses. All three of those are him getting taken down and either controlled across 15, like in the Ronnie Lawrence fight, which I didn't see, but I'm just guessing that's what happened because it's a Ronnie Lawrence fight. And then in the two other fights, he was taken down and he was submitted. So, yeah, striker versus grappler. On the feet, Armfield's going to have a big advantage. On the mat, Hiestan's going to have a big advantage. I think Hiestan's going to have a cardio advantage as well. So there's a couple of different ways I'm looking at potentially playing this. Armfield by KO, I think, is very live. It's plus 255. I think it's very live because if Hiestan's not able to get the wrestling going, I think he is going to get knocked out. And then I was looking at these Hiestand 2-3 props, and they're just crazy numbers as well. I saw plus 2,500 for Hiestand round 3, which I feel like I should be betting those because I bet Brad Katona round 2, round 3 against Armfield because Armfield does slow down and he has been finished late in fights. And then I also don't mind like the fight doesn't go at plus money as well, just because Armfield's going to have the knockout option, and then Hiestand could potentially get a late sub. So yeah, there's a couple different ways I'm looking at maybe playing this. Nothing I love, but I kind of like some type of violence in this fight, which is going against the grain because I haven't really seen anybody on violence here. If anything, I see a lot of overs and Armfield by decision, Hiestand by decision, but I think stylistically there could potentially be a finish here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Nothing bet yet, but I might add something. And if I do, it'll be in the betting breakdown video. From a DraftKings perspective, great fight to target. I love targeting these striker versus grappler matchups on DraftKings because if Armfield gets his way, I think he's knocking out Hiestand. And if Hiestand's getting his way, he's getting a ton of takedowns, a ton of control time, and winning either a decision or getting a late finish. So yeah, great fight from a DraftKings perspective. But I'm thinking maybe some type of violence bet here. Just not sure I'm going to play it, if I'm going to play it at all. Let's see. Remember when someone asked you if they'll do a shoey if Dos Santos shoots 0 takedowns? Yes, that was Dixon. And it was actually the Montana De La Rosa fight. He said if she attempts 0 takedowns, will I do a shoey? And Montana De La Rosa, let's see, she got 3 takedowns and she attempted 6. So that was good. And you said, yes. If you don't have any shoes by chance, I have my cup. I would lend you for a minute. No, I'm not doing that. And even if it was Dos Santos attempted 3 takedowns. So, and why would I, what do you mean by a cup? All right, you're sick. You're sick, Beaver. That was awesome. We had Jesse Butler on last week, Weston Wilson this week. Is Shannon Ross on the next Fade City? I don't know. They need to get Shannon Ross back in there, unless he's been cut, which I hope not. But I don't know. Bet on your fellow Brady, easy money, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sold on the guy. He has a lot of heart, He has a lot of heart, which you got to love that. But I still think he's got some room for improvement. You know, the wrestling's decent. But this is the striking, man. He's going to be at a big striking disadvantage. But yeah, it probably would be dog or pass because Brady does have a path to victory here. All right, let's move on. This is going to close out the big parlay for me. Nate Maness, Jimmy Flick. Short and sweet. I'm taking the under 2.5 rounds in a parlay. Super chalky. But if it doesn't hit, I'd be fairly surprised. And yeah, I think it's most likely going to be Nate Maness getting a knockout in round 1 or round 2. The only problem is these lines, man. You know, earlier in the week, I'm like, you know, I do my tape study and my notes, and I write down what I'm looking at for a potential bet, and I thought I'd have a ton more action, and then it's like they give you trash lines like Nate Maness inside the distance is minus 300. How do you bet Nate Maness inside the distance at minus 300? You don't. Nate Maness by knockout is +2 or minus 235, minus 275. How do you lay that much chalk on a knockout prop? You don't. You just don't. Nate Maness round 1, round 2 is like minus 200. So it's like, geez. So the only thing you really can do is look at the dog and Jimmy Flick, which I absolutely don't want to do. I hate Jimmy Flick's chances of winning this fight. I hate it a lot. Or you just parlay up the juice under, and that's what I did. So under 2.5, looking for somebody to get served within the first 12.5 minutes. I even don't mind the under 1.5, which the over 1.5 got hit a little bit. There we go. So the under 1.5 is now minus 175. It was like minus 200. So if money keeps coming in on this over, I might just add on to the under 1.5. So if you guys are interested in an over in a Jimmy Flick fight, please take it, and maybe I can get the under at a better price. But I doubt it. I doubt it moves much more. From a DraftKings perspective, Nate Maness 9,400 makes sense. Knockout upside. Jimmy Flick, just like Weston Wilson, same thing. Dart throw, win conditions around 1 sub. So yeah, fun fight. Love this fight. But in terms of making money on it, there's not many options other than, you know, playing a juiced under. Unless you want to be contrarian and take the over, which it's just, I mean, no, don't do that. Don't take the over. Somebody commented on my video earlier in the week and said, I bet the over 1.5 in the Weston Wilson fight. And I commented, may I ask why? And he said something along the lines of he was drunk and he was gambling drunk. And I thought to myself, okay, that makes sense. Like how could you bet an over in a Weston Wilson fight? You just don't. You don't do that. You don't do it. But yeah, so these lines are blown out. They know what's going to happen. Confident in Armfield. I'm picking him and by knockout. But I don't know if I'm confident because when he does lose, it is from the style of a Brady Hiestand. No way I can play Nate Maness here. Yeah, you can. It's minus 600. Fight to not go to round 2 for me. Agreed. Minus 135 for the fight. Won't start round 2. We got Subhuman in the building. What is up? Good evening to you as well. Jimmy could get a sub, but the problem is he gets TKO. He gets KO'd with 1 flick. I like it. Yeah, that is a big problem. That is a very big problem. Jimmy's gonna get smoked. I agree. Armfield versus Hiestand. Do you think Hiestand can control Armfield, or do you think Armfield will keep it standing? That's the big question, man. I think Armfield has improved his takedown defense a lot and his get-up game a lot. And if he's able to keep it standing, I think he can make it look quite easy. But you go back and watch some of these Armfield fights, and he is getting taken down. He is getting held down, is the problem. Great content. It's good to see you still going strong. Appreciate that, Andrew. Poor Weston Wilson. Poor Weston Wilson. What's wrong with Maness inside the distance? It's minus 300 is the only problem, which I can't think of a more juiced inside the distance prop than Maness inside the distance at minus 300. Like they're making you pay for it. laying chalk on a that much chalk on an inside the distance prop. I think it hits, but it's like, what are you gonna do with it? I don't know. Weston doesn't move his head and has atrocious striking defense. Silva didn't even look good, and still, yeah, I felt like Silva was messing around, which I was kind of getting worried because I had the fight won't start round 2 in that fight, and Silva was like playing with him in that fight. And yeah, and he still knocked him out. Still knocked him out. Why is Awesome Abaya 5'4" facing Jose Johnson 6 foot? I don't know. I don't know. It's a big difference there. I'm late, Big Ready at work, but I'm all ears. Who's your favorite dog this week? Good luck this weekend, and congrats on 25K. Appreciate you, Dustin, big supporter of the channel. I think that as ugly as it is, and I hate this fight. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I think Lucas Almeida is very live. Other than that, I think a lot of these favorites roll. There's a lot of big favorites this week. I guess Hiestand, like I said, has a path. A lot of people are on Judice. I don't agree. I think Shalion is very live to win a decision if he doesn't get caught in a sub or finish late. But I think my favorite dog would be Almeida, which I hate because I keep losing money on that guy, and I'm done. I'm done with him. Sometimes I'm just done. Sometimes I'm just done, and Lucas Almeida is one of those times. Yeah, it was minus 600. It was, and Jack inside the distance is minus like 2 something. So it's they're on to it this week. Bros, Almeida's getting smoked. No, he's not. Almeida's not. Timmy Kwamba's not smoking anybody ever. You mean he's getting decisioned? I can agree with that. Like, Almeida could get decisioned by Timmy Kwamba, but Timmy Kwamba's not finishing anybody in the UFC. Brady, when do I get a special sponsor? Get whenever you want, Joshua. You've been sponsoring the Stat Diggers recently. I like that. So whenever you want, man. I want to take Almeida, but I don't think I can get there. I can. I'm done. I'm done with that, dude. Potential fights to go the distance. Kwamba, Almeida probably does. Douglas Silva de Andrade, Johns probably does. Oh, I am. And Andrade is another dog I'm picking as well. I'm picking Andrade as a dog. On DraftKings, he's not, but on the money line, he's a plus 120 dog. But he's 38. And what else does Fernandez? Judice probably does. Knutson and Pastri absolutely does. Other than I'm thinking we get some violence. Other than those couple. Andrade is a much better dog than Almeida. Yeah, I could see it. I think he's live, but Miles Johns is another one of these guys that keeps biting. I'm always getting bit on Miles Johns fights as well. Do you like the over in the Almeida fight? Yes, I do. I do like the over, and I like the fight goes. Kwamba's, like I said, not finishing anybody ever. But you're right. If there is a finish, it is going to be Almeida. But Kwamba's a tough dude. So yeah, I don't mind the over, or then the fight goes. And yep, age is just a number. He's in incredible shape. Douglas Silva de Andrade. All right, we'll keep moving on. We gotta speed it up a little bit here. Josh Quinlan, Adam Fugit. This is one of those fights where it's like, I think it's a good spot for Josh Quinlan to get back on track here. He's looked awful in his last 2 fights against Danny Barlow, against Trey Waters. He just looks so hesitant in there. It looks like he's trying to like not gas out or something. I don't know. He's just so low volume. But I think this is a matchup where he's going to have opportunities to hit Fugit in the face very hard. Josh Quinlan has a ton of power. Fugit, he has no striking defense. He's been dropped a ton, knocked out a ton. So I'm kind of leaning Quinlan by knockout. But at the same time, it's hard for me to trust it. I'm not sure if I'm completely sold on Quinlan being a UFC level fighter. And Fugit's a dog. I'm sure Fugit is a popular dog this week because people love the dogs that are dogs, right? That have the dog in them. And Fugit's one of those guys. So I don't know. Like if this goes the distance, it could be very close. Fuget's probably going to be more active. Fuget's probably going to try to get takedowns here. But I think the big shots are coming from Quinlan. I think Quinlan's live for a knockout. It's just I don't want nothing to do with it. There's some fights on this card I just want nothing to do with, and I think that's one of them from a betting perspective. DK perspective, I do not mind Quinlan. I think he's live for a knockout, early knockout as well. And then Fugit is a live dog for sure. He's a live dog, and at these salaries, I think both guys are in play. And I think this fight is probably going to be important. We only have 11 fights on this card, so I think this fight is probably going to be important. It's a Fugit fight, which means it's going to be a fun fight, entertaining fight, and it probably scores well on DraftKings. But as far as a betting perspective, I'm staying away. What happened to the DFS show on Post Sports Radio Wednesday night? I don't know if you're just joining, Londo, but we did touch on that a couple times. It's going to now be on this channel, DFS by the Numbers, every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Be there or be square. Excited to bring that back. I know me, Gordo, Monk, Weezy are all looking forward to bringing it back. Quinlan's money line is so bad. It won't look bad if he knocks out Fugit tomorrow, but yeah, I can't trust him, man. Quinlan is tough. Yes, he's very tough. And he hits hard. Yes, he does. And that's about it. Well, he's a black belt. He has great takedown defense. And that's it. Yeah, that is about it. Very low volume. So I just want to stay away. Maness in the under 0.5 rounds, plus 313. The reason I took the under 2.5 rounds in the Maness fight instead of like the under 1.5 or the fight won't start round 2 is because Maness typically starts kind of slow in a lot of his fights. He's typically a come from behind type fighter. So I don't know if he's gonna win under half a round. I mean, it's certainly possible, but I don't know. Maybe he starts a little bit slow would be my worry, but that's a good number. Start of the week, I thought it'd be quite heavy on this card, but the further the week goes, I'm getting more and more sketched out. Going to pick my spots carefully. You took the words right out of my mouth. I thought I was going to have 10 plus units on this card. I thought I'd be going heavy on Maness KO, Jekka KO, Ikram, round 1, Tagir, sub, everything. I thought I'd have everything this week. And then fights are getting canceled, and these lines are just unbettable. Fight not to go, minus 150. The only thing that concerns me is Quinlan is pretty tough. Like, honestly, both guys are. Minus 170, I can't get there personally. Yeah, that's what I would be banking on, but it's hard. Some of these guys, it's just hard to trust. Puja is a lock. So, yeah, a lot of people gave me crap about that one. I scored the fight, Dos Santos 30-27. So, but, it is what it is. Dos Santos came in there with the dumbest game plan I've ever seen in my life. The dumbest game plan I've ever seen in my life. And I still thought she won 30-27. So congrats everybody that was on Puja. Haha. You guys got me. A lot of people were mad. Were mad at my Puja comments last week. And I think the guy that called me the devil, I think that's probably what he was talking about, the Puja comments. But I thought she lost 30-27. Pretty clearly. But the crooked, corrupt, blind, drunk, high judges. I don't get it. I don't get some of these scorecards. I mean, a judge last week scored the fight for Edward Amara. Like, what? How do you score the fight for Edward Amara? I don't know. India's taken over the UFC. Yeah, for sure. It was 30-27 Dos Santos. I thought, 29-28 at the worst case scenario, but who cares? I know I don't care. But a lot of people do. A lot of people were very heavily invested in that fight. A lot of people were on Puja, which that was a good bet. It was a good bet. It was a winning bet. It was a close fight. And Dos Santos with the dumbest. Sometimes you just see the dumbest game plans ever. Interesting. I haven't had the time to watch any highlights. Pastri versus Knudsen. Who do you believe is the better grappler, or who would get the better grappler? Is absolutely by far Knudsen with the wrestling, the grappling, the top control. Pastri will throw up submissions off her back, but she will, stay on her back and lose minutes off her back. Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry, guys. Let's get moving. I agree with that. Let's get moving. All right. Also, I'm a buy of Jose Johnson. Next bet of the card is going to be on the under 2.5 rounds, minus 145 for 1 unit. And then I also played the Asu second round submission, quarter unit plus 500. Then Asu Amabayev third round submission, quarter unit plus 900. I think it's a violent fight here. Jose Johnson is a violent guy, win or lose. A 69% finish rate, has a ton of power. So if for some reason this fight is on the feet, Jose Johnson's live to land a bomb and get the knockout. And then on the ground, I think Asu Amabayev is going to kind of run through this guy, to be honest. Jose Johnson is massive, but he has probably the worst takedown defense in the UFC. Pound for pound, worst takedown defense in the UFC. And that's including fighters like Damir Hadzovic, like Slava Borshev. I'm including everybody. Everybody in the UFC, combine them all. Jose Johnson has the worst takedown defense I've ever seen. On paper, it's 36%. I was thinking it would be more towards 0%, but apparently he did stuff some takedowns. But no, he folds like a lawn chair anytime somebody tries to take him down. And then on top of that, his submission defense is very questionable. 4 submission losses, and I was going back and watching a lot of his fights. When he's getting taken down, he's giving up his back a ton to get up, which I like. It's not like for example, Joe Solecki against Grant Dawson. Joe Solecki quit in that fight. He quit after the first 60 seconds because he was content to just lay there, not take any damage, not work his way back up. Whereas Jose Johnson, respect to him, he's not going to just lay there. He's going to try to work his way back up, get to his knees and give up his back. And against Almabayev, I'm not sure if that's going to work out too well. So, yeah, under 2.5. I think Jose Johnson, if his win conditions knockout, I definitely don't see him winning a decision. Maybe a sub, like he will throw up submissions, but and then on top of that, I think Asu Almabayev very live for a sub. Johnson's been subbed 4 times, and Almabayev's won half his fights by sub. So that's how I'm playing it, under 2.5. 1 unit, and then the 2-3 sub sprinkles. Give me some violence here. Almabayev is my most confident pick on the card. My most confident pick is Nate Maness. And then my next most confident pick would be Almabayev. I agree. And then my next most confident pick, I have no clue. Maybe Knutson. And then it'd be like Jekka. Jose is 6 foot tall for nothing. Dude is booty. I'm actually a big fan of Jose Johnson. I think he's a fun fighter. He's going to bring violence. He hits like a truck. He hits like an absolute, like just looking at the guy, you wouldn't think he has power, but he has a ton of power. Like he's knocked out guys cold. He's sent dudes to the hospital before. Jose Johnson's a lock. Oh boy. Dawson's great top pressure. Might have been a bit of, it's a little bit of a factor, but at least you would like to see Joe Solecki just attempt to get back up. If you're gonna you're gonna lose minutes, you're gonna lose the fight. Give up your back. You do something. Just try to work your way back. I hate when people just quit, like Joe Solecki quit in that fight. Let's see. Jose Johnson is the 125. Jalen Turner, decent comparison. But, he has a ton of power. So if Almabayev's not able to get this fight down to the mat, he's going to be in trouble. It's just a gust of wind could take down Jose Johnson. I bet Jose Johnson's laying on the mat right now or laying on the ground right now because he just gets taken down so easily. Yeah, I hate quitters, man. I hate it. I hate it. I think somebody quit last week. I don't know. I forget. But yeah, I hate when guys quit. Johnson flew guillotine. Yeah, he has those long arms. How much is Johnson sub? Probably something stupid, man. Something crazy for Johnson sub. Johnson submission plus 2,500. What I will say, he will attempt them. He will certainly attempt submissions. How much does he have? 19% submission rate for Johnson. So he will attempt them. It's going to be tough to get it against Almabayev. All right, let's keep moving on, guys. We have Douglas Silva de Andrade going against Miles Johns. These last well, these next 2 fights I could care less about, which is crazy because one is the co-main and both are on the main card, but I hate these fights. Miles Johns, Silva de Andrade, it's a dog or pass. Andrade is 38 years old. I don't love that. Miles Johns is a great minute winner. He has good wrestling, offensively, defensively, great striking defense as well. But Andrade is 38, but he's a dog. He's a dog. He has a lot of power. I think it's a close fight. I think if there's a finish, it's on the Andrade side. But yeah, I think it's a close fight. It goes to decision. Andrade maybe landing the bigger shots, having the better moments. Miles Johns probably being the minute winner wherever the fight goes, on the feet, on the mat, can maybe get takedowns here as well. So yeah, just a close fight. Just a close fight. Nothing really sticking out from a betting or DraftKings perspective. So yeah, it's a pass for me. Nothing. I got nothing for you on this one. Amabayev's not getting gillied. Yeah, it'd be a surprise. It'd be a surprise, but I've been surprised many times before in my life. Timmy Kwamba, Lucas Almeida, another fight I really could care less about. I'm shocked they put this fight on the main card, but I guess now they kind of have to because no Tagir fight. But I mean, I would have liked to see like Weston Wilson. I mean, Weston Wilson's a future star in the making. Like, why not put Weston Wilson on the card? But Timmy Kwamba, Lucas Almeida, I'm shocked at this price tag on Kwamba. Like, I feel like his win condition's like a super close decision. He's so low volume. Maybe he can wrestle here a little bit. We've seen Almeida taken down, but we've seen him taken down by like Pat Sabatini. On the feet, Kwamba, I think he's definitely the more technical striker, but it's going to be Almeida, who's a little bit higher volume, more power. It's just I've been getting burned on Almeida fights lately. I bet the finish only in the Trezano fight in his first fight, which was great. It hit. It was a great bet. And then I bet the finish only in the Pat Sabatini fight, and Almeida looks like a complete bum. Like, this guy's a black belt, and Pat Sabatini made him look like a white belt out there. So lost that, and then I had Lucas Almeida finish only against Fili, and he gets sparked by Andre Fili. So it's like, I don't know. But yeah, it's certainly a dog or pass. It's just I kind of want nothing to do with Almeida and this fight. So yeah, I hate this fight. I hate it. I'm not being the devil. I just don't like the fight. Don't like the Silva de Andrade or John's fight. From a DraftKings perspective, I'm not touching Kwamba. I think that salary is ridiculous. But Lucas Almeida on DraftKings, I think that's where I'm going to get my exposure. He's way too cheap. This fight is way too close. So give me Almeida on DraftKings. If you like Kwamba, the decision prop's pretty big. I don't think he's finishing. And then also the overs or the fight goes, I think, is interesting as well. But I just don't want to have any money tied in on this fight. Oh, let's see. Oh, we got Mark in the building. My guinea pig just died. I'm sorry, Mark. Dang it. She was named after Miranda Maverick, RIP, Fear the Piggy. Dang. I'm sorry to hear that, Mark. Sucks. I was hoping Weston Wilson sub was going to be like plus 1,000 or more. I was going to sprinkle at it's plus 450. It's not good enough at all, man. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, give me Weston Wilson first round sub. That's something stupid, something crazy, and I'll take a shot. But we're not getting something crazy. Bro, I gotta disagree. Almeida's kill or be killed. I agree with that. So what are you disagreeing about? I agree with that. I agree. He's kill or be killed. He really goes for the finish. Almeida, yeah, he does. I was saying Kwamba doesn't. Kwamba's low. Yeah, I mean, look at him, man. Go watch his fights. He's low volume. He's very low volume. I mean, look at his fight against Balaji Oki. Only 2.5 strikes per minute in that fight. But even his other fights, man. Let's see. Let me take a look. I mean, I'm not crazy, am I? Let's see. Maybe I'm a little crazy. Maybe I'm crazy, man. Timmy Kwamba. I can pull it up here. Let's look at how high volume this guy is. Because Beam is shocked. Let's see. So here's his 2 fights, Contender Series and UFC. So against Balaji Oki, Kwamba landed 33 significant strikes in 15 minutes. Okay. against Mateo Vogel, Kwamba landed 43 significant strikes in 15 minutes. So in 30 minutes, I'm not the best at math. I don't even need a calculator. In 30 minutes of fight time between Contender Series and UFC, this guy landed 76 significant strikes. 76. If you think that's high volume, I think you might need to get some help. If you think 76 strikes in 30 minutes is high volume, you know what? That's shocking to me. That's shocking to me. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, but I don't think I am. I don't think I'm wrong here. But I mean, everybody has their. That's what I like, right? Everybody has their opinions. That's what I like. I have my opinion. You guys, you have your opinion. If you think Kwamba's high volume, that's fine. But I don't even know why I'm talking about this fight. I'm not. I could care less about this fight. I hate this fight. I'm not big on Timmy Kwamba, and Lucas Almeida just keeps pissing me off every fight he's in. Oh, let's see. I'm here for the hate. I want Grumpy Brady. It's better for betting. Yeah, people have called me grumpy in the past, and yeah, I can be a little bit grumpy, man, because it's not easy coming on here week after week. People crapping on you week after week. People talking crap every single week. It's a lot of work. You put in so much work. Yeah, sometimes I could get a little bit grumpy. Had a really bad March. In my personal life, a really bad March. A lot of terrible things happen in the month of March, and I probably was grumpy that month. It's a terrible March, and that was the month where they had Gary Copeland, the Newark card. Oh, it's awful. Had a horrible March, just terrible. But everything's better. Everything's better now. Everything's good. Everything's good. Ew. Yeah, I agree. Hope things are coming up. Jeez, and yeah, March was terrible. Things happened to me. I don't even want to talk about it because it's gonna piss me off. But you had to deal with a ton of terrible things. But we're all good. All good. All right. So main event: Tatsuro Taira going against Alex Perez. So first and foremost, shout out to Alex Perez for coming in there and making weight. He was the first one to the scale. Alex Perez is turning a corner in his career. Alex Perez is somebody that struggled with the weight cut. Alex Perez would pull out of fights due to the weight cut. And now all of a sudden he's the first to the scale. So yeah, shout out to Alex Perez. I don't know what to do with this fight, guys. I'm a big believer in Tatsuro Taira. I'm a big believer in the guy. But we'd be kidding ourselves if we didn't say this is a massive step up in the toughest test of his career. What concerns me here is the takedown defense of Alex Perez, because the takedown defense of Alex Perez is borderline elite. Borderline elite takedown defense. So if Taira gets him to the ground, I think it's a wrap. I think he's getting the sub. It's just, can Taira get Alex Perez down to the mat? And that's the thing. So what I was looking at here is like a Taira sub, Taira submission prop. And it's not the best price. I mean, Taira sub, oh my gosh. Taira inside the distance, minus 125. Yikes. Taira sub is plus 120. Yikes. Plus 120 on a sub prop. Like, I think that's what happens. It's just I need a little bit more. Because if I bet that sub prop and this dude can't get takedown, I mean, it's going to be a terrible bet. But I think it probably does happen at some point in this fight. I'm just not that confident in it. The take defense of Perez scares me. Perez showing up and making weight and being the first one there scares me. You can tell he's taking it serious. So I think this might just be a fight I sit back and watch. I don't think there's much value on these Taira props. They're all over him and more. From a DraftKings perspective, I love this fight, though, with Tyra. I think the submission upside certainly there. And then Perez, 5 rounds to work with as an underdog. Can't go wrong there as well. So I have plenty of exposure on DraftKings, but in terms of a bet, I just wasn't able to find much. I got Perez abandoning logic for this fight. The fight under 3.5 is lovely. I would lean that way as well. Under 3.5 is like minus 145, minus 135. Tyra has him covered everywhere, in my opinion. The grappling is a major advantage for Tyra. Alex Perez is so much better of a wrestler, though. And then in the striking, I think that's where it gets interesting because Alex Perez has those heavy leg kicks. And I think Tyra's striking is decent as well. And a cut to Alibekov. I couldn't believe that. 5 rounds to work with. Tyra is getting his back and subbing up at some point. I'm leaning that way as well. Not seeing as many people on Perez as I thought. Same, actually. Yeah, I think his striking is pretty good. I mean, the only knock I had on his striking outside the UFC was he was just very low volume. Just didn't throw much, but in the UFC, he's looking a lot better, letting his hands go a little bit more, having a little more confidence, potentially. I'm nervous, but I took the Tyra inside the distance, parlayed with the Tank knockout and Benavidez knockout. Yeah, I think it could come through, man. I think it can come through. I'm nervous about it too, though, as a thing. So I don't know if I'll get there personally. All right, guys. So let's do a quick recap. I thought I would have more action on this card. Ended up not having a ton of action. I'm probably going to be passing on the main event, which is fine. Definitely not touching the Kwamba fight. Definitely not touching the Andrade Johns fight. Almabayev, the under 2.5. Almabayev sub 2-3. Not touching the Quinlan fight. I have the Maness under 2.5 in a big parlay. Haven't touched anything on the Armfield Hiestand fight, but I might add something on the Armfield Hiestand fight. I'm up in the air on it. But tune in for the betting breakdown if I pull the trigger or anything. Fernandez, Judice. The smart move is just staying away. Serra Wilson, I like the under 1.5 in the parlay. Knudsen, no. And then I don't mind the Costa late props. The Mel Costa late props there. So that's about all I got for you guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys could, like on your way out, subscribe. Betting breakdown video tonight. Best bet show tomorrow. Best of luck, everybody, for UFC Vegas 93. We got some good cards coming up and looking forward to breaking them down. We'll see you guys later.